Hey, what's going on, guys? I know it's been a long time, and now we're finally set to go. I've been wanting to do this main event talk for a long time, and now I get the opportunity to finally do it. So, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the newest episode of the main event talk being displayed right here, right now. Today is the 4th of July weekend. Happy 4th of July to all of you that are watching this episode right now. And, guys, I got to go ahead and get this out of the way. This main event talk is brought to you by Pepsi Cola, the choice of a new generation. Yeah, well, I would get a beer out right now, but it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon right now, and I really do not want to have a beer at this point. Well, at least not yet, not till later on. I mean, that's what I got to do and everything else like that, because 4th of July weekend, especially when it comes to this coming 4th of July, every year it gets a little bit interesting, especially here in Corpus Christi, Texas. Of course, there's going to be a fireworks display that's going to take place over downtown Corpus Christi. I believe also by, if I remember this correctly, by Ocean Drive or something like that. Last time when I was over there, I believe it was on a Friday, I drove down with my friend Roman, and I tell you, it was the craziest thing. We drove down there on Ocean Drive, and I couldn't believe the amount of people that were over there to see the fireworks display and everything else like that. There was at least maybe about 1,000 people that were over there. Even on the other side of the bridge, when I went over to the Texas State Aquarium, there was a whole lot more people over there than they were over downtown, so it was completely nuts. So hopefully I'll get a chance to look at it today and everything else like that. I may have a few friends of mine that will be over there. Of course, a big shout out to all my friends that are over at the beach right now, to my longtime best friend Hector Juarez. I call him Homestar Runner. He's also a member of the ever famous Abrasion, to the ever famous Periwinkle Massacre, to the current band he's in right now in Of Serpents and Saviors, alongside with the best drummer on the planet, John Luna. Hope you guys are having a good time, and I hope I get a chance to see you guys later on today. Let me go ahead and open this up real quick, because it is my show, and I usually do whatever the hell I want on my show. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to drink a Pepsi right here on my show. Well, let's go ahead and get this out of the way. This morning, the main event woke up not too hungover, which was a good thing, because I had a few beers last night on me, some at Theo's and everything else like that, and had a friend of mine over here, was drinking a few beers with him and stuff. Dropped him off at home, I believe around 4:30 in the morning, and I also must apologize to my friend Hector, my longtime best friend Hector. I told Homestar, I call him Hector, but I also call him Homestar, that I was going to come back, because I had my friend, and you know how you always have that one friend that was, drinking, had too much, everything else like that, he's knocked out. You know how that goes, right? I take him home, right? Everything's all cool. I was going to go back, but it's one of those deals where when you go home, or when you take a friend back, when you want to go back over to the party, but you're tired as fuck, you really don't want to drink anymore, well, I made the save move by going ahead and just dropping him off, and then went home and went to sleep. That's all I did. But then this morning, the main event wakes up. I check out my Facebook, check out my Twitter, and everything else like that. And the news has been blowing up like crazy. And ladies and gentlemen, if you guys know about the story, you guys know about it. It's been blown up all over Facebook, all over Twitter, all over Instagram, YouTube, and everything else you could possibly imagine. Because a few hours ago, over in Tokyo, Japan, WWE did an event called The Beast in the East. And, well, obviously the reason for the title is because Brock Lesnar was over there. And he took on Kofi Kingston, which to many people's surprise, it's not that big of a surprise, especially considering the fact that he pretty much killed Kofi Kingston and killed New Day. So let me get this out. NXT superstars were over there, WWE superstars were over there at the Beast of the East event, and if you guys already know, we do have a brand new NXT champion, and his name is Finn Balor, and I'll tell you, that was the biggest news that I've heard, and you know what, it's not a surprise. It's not a surprise to me, and it shouldn't be a surprise to all of you that Finn Balor was going to be the next NXT champion. And I felt that needed to happen. Now, most of you guys know about the whole thing involving Kevin Owens and involving John Cena and involving Kevin Owens being part of the main roster. So we knew off the back right away that the moment that Kevin Owens became a part of the main roster on WWE Raw, it was only a matter of time before he loses the championship. But to who, though? And obviously all of us picked Finn Balor. All of us picked him in every way possible. So sure enough, everybody knows about what's going to happen at Battleground in 2 weeks' time. Kevin Owens will go one-on-one against John Cena, but this time it will be for the prestigious United States Championship. The first time took place over at Elimination Chamber, and I never had an opportunity to explain. I think I have, or I think I probably have not. Talked about the matchup that took place over here in Corpus Christi, Texas, a couple of weeks ago, or a month ago to be exact, when Kevin Owens shocked the world and beat John Cena decisively in the middle of the ring. I was there. I saw the whole thing. I had it videotaped. I had it put on Facebook. It was tremendous. It was awesome. It was badass. And then the second encounter with John Cena and Kevin Owens took place over. I saw this over at a place called Bone Shakers over in Corpus Christi, Texas. They managed to get the pay-per-view, but what they did was, and this was kind of very, very smart on their part, they went ahead and got this big projector, right? Got this big projector over there, and what they did was they hooked, I guess they had the WWE amp or the WWE network on their phone or on their Xbox. So they connected it to this projector that shows it up on the screen, so that way everybody can have an opportunity to see WWE Money in the Bank, and that is what happened. And sure enough, you know, I was there. I was with a special friend of mine, a very special friend. Her name is Samantha. Hi, Sam. And we were there seeing, don't ask, please don't ask. We were there to check out WWE Money in the Bank, and we saw from head to toe, top to bottom. Of course, we saw the classic confrontation involving John Cena and Kevin Owens. Holy shit! That match was just as good as the first one that took place here in Corpus Christi. I was the one, and I think a few of the other guys over there had agreed with me when I said this just topped the first match. This one just topped the first match that they had over in Corpus Christi. This beats it by 10 times. I don't know. But man, John Cena did win the match and everything else like that. And Kevin Owens, you know, everybody wanted to know my opinion about what Kevin Owens did to John Cena afterwards. Let me tell you something. This is exactly what Kevin Owens needed to do. Because I knew that he was going to be a sore loser about it. I knew it. But I expected Kevin Owens to come out how he does every time when he's in the ring. If he loses a match, he's not going to go ahead and just shake your hand and say you win the match. He's going to go ahead, beat Kevin Owens, and do what he can and make a statement. If he loses, he's going to make a statement at the end. And sure enough, he did. Kevin Owens lost to John Cena at Money in the Bank. And then pretty much John Cena tried to be the hero. And that's pretty much what he did. Came out, shook his hand, and then after that, Kevin Owens was being Kevin Owens, and he pretty much beat John Cena up pretty bad, and did pretty much the same thing he did with Sami Zayn, okay? And to some people, it's like, oh man, I can't believe he did that, man. That was wrong, man. That was just fucked up, man. To me, it's like, you know what? This dude's making a fucking statement. What do you want him to do? You know, sit there and take his losing streak like a man? Come on. You know, your name is Kevin Owens. You're making a huge name for yourself. And what do? You go after the biggest star. And if you don't beat the biggest star, you make a statement on the biggest star in the WWE. And that's what Kevin Owens did. So, what does this mean for the third encounter with John Cena and Kevin Owens at Battleground? To me personally, we're going to expect this to be an A-list match, an A-plus match, if you will. To me, Kevin Owens has nothing to lose and pretty much, in my opinion, nothing to gain. Even if he wins the United States Championship, it will mean something, but even if he doesn't win it, it will still mean something. Kevin Owens has pretty much laid the trap out, had put everything set. Yes, he did lose the NXT Championship hours ago to Finn Balor. Now, he gets an opportunity to win a championship back, but this time for the United States Championship against John Cena. What will we see in this encounter? I've said this to a few other people. If John Cena is going to do what he can to Kevin Owens, then he needs to do this. This is just my opinion, and this is what needs to happen. If John Cena beats Kevin Owens at Battleground, right? Beats him at Battleground. Don't go over there and go shake his hand. No, don't do that. Don't even shake his, don't even praise who he is. You go ahead and you make a statement on him like you've done with every other person, okay? In other words, Kevin Owens made a statement on John Cena, right? Why not return the favor? Why not do that? Because it's not going to show me that John Cena is going to turn heel. Because let's be honest, he won't turn heel. It'll never happen. But he will make a statement on Kevin Owens. And if he has to, if he wins the match, he has to make a statement on him. He has to pretty much put him down, break him to his foundation, make him look like a little biatch, and tell him straight up, I'm John Cena, I'm the man, and you will never disrespect me like that ever again. That's how it should be done. And you know, I don't mind the whole good guy being a hero type situation, but sometimes a hero can sometimes be the one to make you understand a lesson. In other words, John Cena needs to put down Kevin Owens. That's all he needs to do. Make a statement on him and say, you're not going to do this to me ever again. You may have done this to me in Money in the Bank, but at Battleground, I'm going to make you my bitch. And that is what needs to happen if John Cena beats Kevin Owens at Battleground in 2 weeks' time for the United States Championship. I cannot wait for that. Can't wait for that. It's going to be tremendous. Can't wait to check it out. And, well, let me go ahead and like I said, congratulations are in order to go out to Finn Balor for winning the NXT Championship against Kevin Owens. And, man, I didn't see all of it, but I know I saw, like, the previews of it and stuff. I know there's a lot of people, especially a few of my friends that were up, I think 5:30 in the morning or 6 o'clock. I think most of the people that saw, especially when it comes to WWE NXT, if you guys saw it, especially when it's here in the United States, I think here in Corpus, I think most people saw it around, I'm going to say 7 o'clock in the morning. You know how when you get up early in the morning and want to go ahead and, you know, go to work and everything else like that. But in this case, on the 4th of July, I guess some people went ahead and saw it and saw it at 7 o'clock. I don't know if it was a 3-hour event or a 2-hour event. It could have been a 3-hour event. You never know. But nonetheless, the Beast in the East deal was tremendous. I saw the whole thing with Finn Balor. You know, they were posting a lot of stuff on Instagram about what happened with the match with Finn Balor and Kevin Owens. That was just, oh my God, it was an epic matchup from in any way possible. And of course, well, Brock Lesnar taking on the New Day, or Kofi Kingston to be exact. And let me tell you something, and let's call it like we see it. Kofi Kingston did not stand a chance against Brock Lesnar. Are you kidding me? Are you out of your fucking mind? We're talking about Brock Lesnar. We're talking about the Beast Incarnate. We're talking about the fact that this man is looking to regain the WWE World Heavyweight Championship against Seth Rollins in 2 weeks' time over at Battleground. That's going to happen. But holy shit, New Day did not stand a chance. I'm sorry. After Kofi Kingston got his ass kicked by Brock Lesnar, then here comes Xavier Woods, F5, here comes Big E, F5. All three of those bitches are no longer going New Day rocks. Brock Lesnar is pretty much saying New Day sucks. Or how about this? Suplex City, bitch. And that's what happened to these three individuals. And no offense to the New Day, no offense to them at all. But those three, I think it'll be a matter of time. I don't expect them to break up just yet. But I want it to happen after SummerSlam. I want it to happen after SummerSlam. And I sure as hell do not want to see them become tag team champions. I just want the titles to remain with the primetime players. You know the primetime players have the titles now. And I'm so happy that those guys are the new champions, because that's been something I've wanted to see for a long, long time. The primetime players were an awesome tag team a long time ago. They separated and they didn't do so well. And then all of a sudden it took the Ascension to put them back together. And that's exactly what happened. And then a couple of months later, or a couple of weeks later, New Day would lose the tag team titles to the primetime players. And the only excuse that I heard from the New Day is the fact that, well, Kofi Kingston was hurt, man. We need to be fully positive. We were screwed out of those titles. No, you weren't screwed out of the titles. You just lost fairly and squarely to the primetime players. As simple as that. You didn't need Kofi Kingston. But then again, you only needed him because you wanted to make sure that those tag team titles were around your waist once again, no matter what. So no matter if New Day rocks, New Day will always suck. That's how it goes. Now, let me also get into this other little detail, and this took place this past Monday on Raw. Now, I mentioned the whole thing about Kevin Owens and John Cena, right? Now, everybody's been talking also about the fact that the matchup with John Cena and Cesaro that took place on Monday Night Raw. Oh my God, that was also another incredible matchup. And also, and this is also one superstar who right now, Cesaro, to me right now, is starting to become the hottest superstar going in WWE, and more importantly, he's now at the level that he definitely needs to be at. Not that since Cesaro had never deserved to be in the level that he needed to be, he was always there. It's just that you had other people, pretty much trying to help Cesaro's career, and it didn't succeed as well as it should, and I think basically what it is quite simple. Cesaro had been a heel for, I guess, for quite a while, and nobody really bought into it, but now he started, becoming a good guy, or becoming a baby face, if you will, and the fans are really getting behind Cesaro a whole lot more, and that's what needs to happen, because here's the thing. Cesaro's a talented superstar. Cesaro's as talented as possibly get. All these fans are now getting behind him, and to me personally, Cesaro, at the level that he's at, even though he's no longer with Tyson Kidd, because as you know, Tyson Kidd had suffered a neck injury, and if you guys had a chance to look at WWE Instagram, you'll see the scar on the back of his neck, and oh my God, I mean, and it was all because of what happened with him and Samoa Joe. I believe it was WWE Main Event. He had a fractured deal behind his neck and stuff, but man, I saw that big scar, and I saw, there was this big line, at least about this big or something like that, I don't know, and it was just, holy shit, I can't believe that happened to Tyson Kidd. But with Cesaro on his own, it gives him a bigger opportunity to not only make a name for himself, but somewhere along the line, we're going to see Cesaro, in the main roster, at the top of the game with Seth Rollins, with John Cena, with Kevin Owens, with all this talent. Because look, Cesaro's been in the WWE for quite a while now, and Cesaro, to me personally, needs to be in the championship matchup. If he's not going for the U.S. title, he needs to go for the Intercontinental title. If he doesn't go for the Intercontinental title, he needs to be in the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match. That's the truth. But I think most of you can agree that Cesaro definitely needs to have a triple threat match with Kevin Owens and John Cena. But you guys may have already noticed this. If you look at Facebook, if you look at Twitter, and I saw this a couple of days ago, and could it happen? Will it happen? Will we see a triple threat match for the United States Championship at WWE SummerSlam? And I know all of you, would definitely want to see that. Cesaro, Kevin Owens, John Cena for the United States Championship. It should be tremendous. But, like I said, that hasn't happened yet. But that's something that, I think a lot of people will definitely want to watch. But I also think, and this is just my opinion, once again, I have this strange feeling that Cesaro is going to play a huge role in the whole thing with Kevin Owens and John Cena, because let's be honest, Kevin Owens did screw Cesaro out of his opportunity to become the United States champion, and he pretty much, took away any chances Cesaro had against John Cena. But let's be honest, Cesaro, he would have been the next guy to beat John Cena fair and square. That's my opinion. I think that's your opinion as well. But we'll never know, since Kevin Owens had already interfered in the matchup. So like I said, at Battleground, it'll be Kevin Owens, it'll be John Cena. But will Cesaro play a role or do something to interfere in the match? Personally, I hope he does, just so he can put his name out there and want to get his hands on the United States Championship, and get his hands on John Cena, and get his hands on Kevin Owens. To me personally, Cesaro needs to be in that top spot right now. He needs to take it while it's there, and he needs to take it while the fans are still cheering for him, because let's be honest, a lot of fans respect Cesaro, a lot of the fans love what he does and everything else like that. I love what he does, and I just hope that we see him in a championship capacity, whether it's U.S. title, Intercontinental title, or even the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. I hope that happens very, very soon in the near future. So we've covered NXT's, we've covered the Beast in the East. We've covered the fact that we talked about Kevin Owens and Battleground. Let's also talk about, let's see, and I was reading through this earlier today on my Facebook. Sometime, I believe it's this week, we're going to finally see Cody Rhodes or Goldust appear for the very first time ever since the passing of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. And if you guys, pretty much, I've known about a lot of things that have been happening, and I have not posted anything at all on my YouTube show. But just to go ahead and get this out of the way, my thoughts and my condolences go out to Goldust and to Cody Rhodes, Stardust, after what happened to the American Dream Dusty Rhodes a couple of weeks ago. It was truly a sad moment to find out about what happened to the American Dream, and the fact that, man, Dusty Rhodes was not only appeared on WWE TV, he had also appeared on ESPN, and that's just crazy. I mean, you know, I've always known Dusty Rhodes has been a huge star in the business, but I didn't think he was that big of a star, because it just the fact alone that he appears on TNA Wrestling, he appeared in WWE TV. I think he appeared in Ring of Honor as well. I could be wrong, but for the fact that he appears on ESPN, it just shows a whole lot about what this man has done. I've been a huge fan of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. I was looking through some of the older stuff of Dusty Rhodes, including a classic matchup between the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, and one of his greatest rivals of all time, the 16-time World Heavyweight Champion, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Starrcade, I believe it was 1984 or 85, one of those, where Ric Flair would take on Dusty Rhodes, and Dusty Rhodes would become the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, defeating Ric Flair. It was just a classic matchup, and I loved it in every way possible. I loved the promos that he did, and like I said, I'm a huge fan of Dusty Rhodes, and I'm also a huge fan of both Goldust and Stardust. And it's crazy how they do the same things that his father did back in the day. Goldust was pretty much a different person. I remember when he was just a natural Dustin Rhodes back in the days of WCW, and then when he came to WWE, shows up as Goldust. And Cody Rhodes, to me, the one person I can believe be just as good as his dad and just as good as Goldust, because when I saw Cody Rhodes the first time, a lot of people did not give him a chance. A lot of people did not give Cody Rhodes a chance in hell, because he pretty much was nothing in the business, to everybody. But in 2008, 2009, Cody Rhodes got a whole lot better with his skills, got a whole lot better with his talent, got a whole lot better with his mic skills, and pretty much had the look and everything to become something huge in WWE. Hell, he was a part of Legacy with Randy Orton and Ted DiBiase at the time, and he was very hot. He was very hot at the time. Hell, he even won the Intercontinental Championship, and he became just as hot as he did. And then when he had the mask on, I really didn't like that, but he was still a hot deal no matter what. And then of course the whole thing with him and Goldust becoming a tag team, I was very, very impressed with what Cody Rhodes brought to the table and everything else like that. Became tag team champions, and they lose the title, and then of course the end of Cody Rhodes would emerge into Stardust, would become pretty much the other side of Cody Rhodes, if you will. And last time we heard anything about Stardust, of course, I still remember when a couple months back, when that whole feud involving Stardust and Goldust would begin, and then of course his father was in the mix of that whole thing, and then that was pretty much it. Cody Rhodes was dead, but the fans still kept bringing up Cody Rhodes over and over again. So now, when Cody Rhodes comes back to TV, the big question remains is, are we going to see Stardust, or are we going to see Cody Rhodes? That's been the big question on everyone's mind. So I think, personally, with what happened to Cody Rhodes' dad and everything else like that, I think it would be best for Cody Rhodes to show up. Let's leave Stardust behind. Let's put the character aside and bring out Cody Rhodes. Bring out the real deal and see how far this goes and everything else like that. Hopefully we do see that, because I like the Stardust character, I do, but I really would like to see Cody Rhodes come back as himself, and maybe we can, see the reemergence of Cody Rhodes and bring him back to where he needs to be, at the very top of WWE. And once again, RIP to the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. And we will all miss you, my friend. And I think, what was the last words that he said on his tribute? Happy trails, and I'll see you on the other side. I think that's what he said. It was an awesome tribute. Couldn't wait for that. So, okay, now that we got all that stuff out of the way, now that we've put everything behind, let's go ahead and let's bring up a few other things that I want to bring up. And I'm not going to talk about WWE for a moment because we've pretty much already covered everything as far as WWE, John Cena, Kevin Owens, Goldust, and everything else like that. Let's talk about the one thing that's been kind of nagging on my mind for the past few hours. And I was hoping to put this on as well, but now I get the opportunity to finally let this out. And as you guys know, Wrestling Wednesdays, you know, it's Ring of Honor, it's NXT, it's Impact Wrestling, it's Lucha Underground. I've been digging it. You know, this Wednesday night, Wrestling Wednesday, if you will, is pretty much the new Monday Night War. Let's call it like that. It's the new Monday Night War, but the thing is, there's really no competition involved. And that's my opinion. That's my opinion. There's really no competition in Wrestling Wednesday. But Wednesdays are always good when it comes to professional wrestling. You got Ring of Honor, NXT, you got Impact Wrestling, you got Lucha Underground. And you don't know where to start. My deal goes like this. I start with Ring of Honor first, right? Get that out of the way. Then I go ahead and watch Impact Wrestling for 2 hours, right? That's 4, let's see, 2, 3, that's 3 hours right there. And then Lucha Underground afterwards. That's 4 hours right there. From 7 all the way down to 11 o'clock, okay? 4 hours. I believe that's correct. 4 hours of wrestling right there. And, of course, add NXT to it, you got 5 hours. 5 hours of all wrestling. If you have the WWE Network, boom, you got it set right there. You'll see all the wrestling on one side of the television. Why don't you see the WWE Network on your laptop or on your deal and everything else like that. But let me get this one part out of the way because it has been driving me insane, and I don't feel it yet. I don't feel it at all. But I'm going to bring this up right now. The TNA Wrestling. Let's talk about Impact Wrestling. And you know what? I'm going to do this because I can. I'm going to do this because I need to, and it's pretty hot out there right now. It's about 94 degrees outside, but I got to get this out because, man, let me tell you, this shit does piss me off. Not this. No. I love my shirt. It's badass. But the fact that what I saw happened, you could have done something different with it, but you didn't. But it's okay. We're not going to blame TNA Wrestling for this. We're not going to blame them at all for what happened. But let's call it like we see it. For the past few months, Kurt Angle has been TNA World Heavyweight Champion for the past few months. He took on Bobby Lashley. He took on Bobby Roode. He took on Eric Young. He took on a lot of great wrestlers. So now the only person that deserved to be in a title picture would be, I don't want to say it. Give me a second. Ethan Carter III. EC3. Now, you guys know about the story, and I'm going to go ahead and just let it out. EC3 is the new TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Yeah, I said it. Ethan Carter III, EC3, is a champion in TNA. Oh my God! And you know what? And I think I said this a long time ago. If Ethan Carter III becomes champion, TNA had already went down. It's gonna go down even further. And let me explain the whole scenario, and let's kind of call it like we see it. We know Kurt Angle had suffered an injury. He suffered a tumor on the back of his neck. And from what I understand, he's going to need surgery to remove the tumor, and he's going to be away for several months, which means we're not going to be able to see Kurt Angle until possibly in 2016. And you know, the thing is, and I've said this many times, Kurt Angle is a tremendous wrestler. Kurt Angle is a tremendous athlete, one of the best wrestlers going today. But the thing is, I've often asked myself, you know, when is it going to be time for Angle to just, you know, hang it up? I mean, and not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just the fact that, you know, the multiple injuries that Kurt Angle has suffered, the things that he does in the ring, He's tremendous at what he does. He's went up against some of the best wrestlers on this planet, from the likes of AJ Styles, to the likes of Christopher Daniels, to Sting, to Triple H, to John Cena, Brock Lesnar, of course. You know, he's went up against some great wrestling talent, and you know, all the multiple injuries that he suffers. You know what? I ask myself. I know a lot of you probably ask yourself, when is Kurt Angle going to be done? You know, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. You know, it's just the fact that, you know, when you've known a wrestler for a long time, and he's wrestled his heart out for so many years and does what he can for the people and everything else like that, you got to ask yourself, I mean, will we ever see Kurt Angle just stop? You know, I mean, we don't want to see him stop wrestling, obviously, because that's something that he loves for a long time. He's been a passionate wrestler. He's done a lot of amazing things in the ring, but there comes a time and a point where, will it be the end? Will it be over? Will we ever see Kurt Angle retire? I don't see him retiring anytime soon. I mean, maybe within 2 years, but that's really it as far as my thought is. But we know about his tumor and everything else like that, and it also explains why Ethan Carter III was, I believe, chosen to be the next TNA champion. And let me go ahead and just get all this out about EC3, and I'm gonna give you two versions. I'm gonna give you what I think about him, and then what I really think about him. Okay, let me get to what I think about him. I think Ethan Carter III. I'm getting a lot of different sides to him. Well, not sides from him, but I'm getting a lot of different sides when it comes to the fans. There's some people that say that he's an alright wrestler, he's not that great. And there are others that say, dude, that's the best talent that TNA has ever had. He's better than Sting, he's better than AJ Styles. And I heard that right away, and I'm like, You don't put EC3 next to AJ Styles. You don't do that at all. Because AJ Styles is one of the best wrestlers in Ring of Honor and in TNA, and there's no way in hell you're going to put that guy next to AJ Styles. No fucking way. So I heard that. I'm hearing a bunch of mixed reactions when it comes to EC3. So to me, I mean, he's all right, but EC3 is like The Miz. But at least with The Miz, he had the balls to actually go up against some talent. That's the truth. He went up against John Cena at WrestleMania. Wasn't worth a shit, but he got in the ring with him. Hell, he went up against... he didn't go face-to-face with Brock Lesnar in a match, but I know that he went toe-to-toe with Brock Lesnar, and he had some balls to go up to him. You know, anybody remembers The Miz TV, where The Miz had pretty much stood up to Brock Lesnar, and hell, he got his ass kicked by Brock Lesnar, but at least The Miz stood his ground. Ethan Carter III hasn't proven anything yet at all. Nothing. There's nothing that tells me that he's worth anything at all. You can give me this crap about how he's undefeated. You can give me all of that bullshit however you want to. You could tell me he beat Sting. You could tell me he beat AJ Styles. You could tell me, well, he never really faced AJ Styles, but you could tell me all of this crap about Ethan Carter III. Now, let me give you what I really think. Well, that part was what I really think. But what I really think about Ethan Carter III, he is one superstar that nobody really cares about. Nobody cares if he's champion. Nobody cares if he's anything. I think the only thing that they care about is when he is actually beaten. And let me also get this one part out as well. Ethan Carter III supposedly has been undefeated, right? Supposedly. When he came in to TNA a couple of years ago, who did he beat? He beat a nothing happening wrestler. That's it. He didn't win up against some top talented guy. He didn't go up against a former world champion. He just went up against some fucking idiot. Some wrestler from the independent circuit. That's it. And you make a huge name for yourself by beating someone like him, and then each and every time you're in the ring, you're going up against another nothing happening wrestler? Really? And then that whole controversy with Sting, and let's call it controversy. He didn't really beat Sting. He didn't. He had the help of Rockstar Spud, had the help of Dixie Carter, had the help of other wrestlers to beat Sting in the middle of the ring. He never really beat Sting. Let's call it like we see it. Because if Sting really took on Ethan Carter III, Ethan Carter III would have already been beaten at the hands of Sting. That's the truth. You know it. Believe that. And let's also go a little further. The only few matches that I believe that he really won: Bully Ray, Slammiversary. He actually beat Bully Ray at a tables match. And yes, there was a little bit of interference from Aunt Dixie and everything else like that. And then, of course, he had the match with Ken Anderson. He did beat him fair and square. Despite the fact that Tyrus was there, you know, big fucking Tyrus, he won against Ken Anderson. Fairly and squarely. Okay, that's fine. He did beat Rockstar Spud, but it was only because it's Rockstar Spud. Okay? No disrespect to Rockstar Spud. I like the guy. He's, you know, very talented. I think he was a 2-3-time X Division champ. I was about to say NXT champion. I keep mixing NXT with the X Division title. I don't know why. But anyways, then comes Kurt Angle and Ethan Carter III for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Now, I saw that entire match left and right. Yes, Tyrus did come in. He interfered in the match and everything, but he was also ejected from the ring, right? He was done. And then afterwards, it was just Ethan Carter III. It was Kurt Angle. And I was thinking in my head, you know what? We're going to see Kurt Angle beat him finally. I want to videotape this whole thing. So I take my camera and I'm watching this on video, right? I'm putting it together just so I can show it to Facebook and everything else like that. And then all of a sudden, the unthinkable happens. Roll up. 1, 2, 3. Ethan Carter III becomes the new TNA World Heavyweight Champion. And the crowd's reaction pretty much speaks for itself. And let me tell you, I don't know what to say. He becomes the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. And much like the crowd over in Orlando, Florida, they don't know what to think. They truly don't know what to think. Okay. It was good that Bobby Lashley was champion. I love that. It was good that Bobby Roode was champion. I love that. Bully Ray, he did something. He was champion. I like that. The list of champions that I could think of, the list of people that I thought could be champion would make a lot of sense. Like, for instance, you know the one person that I wanted to see become the TNA World Heavyweight Champion more than Ethan Carter III? One person. One person. Not Eric Young. Bobby Lashley, I wouldn't mind if he became champion again. Kurt Angle, definitely want to see him become champion. MVP. MVP. Why hasn't anybody put MVP in a title match? Here's the thing that drives me fucking nuts. You got a guy like Ethan Carter III, a guy who has been in this business, who still hasn't proven anything yet, still hasn't, in my opinion, even though he had a couple of lucky matches, because he had Tyrus. He had someone in his back pocket to make sure that he won every single time. And what about MVP? What about the guy that's putting together this group called the BDC, the Beatdown Clan, and got some of the most talented superstars that have ever come in to the BDC? Samoa Joe was in the BDC, right? But he moved on because he had to go to NXT. And it was good for Joe, and I'm glad for him. And then you had Homicide. You had Homicide who had been injured many times, but he was perfectly built for the BDC, right there. And now he's gone. He's out with an injury. And then, all of a sudden, you hear about Low Ki. Low Ki, you guys know, is already out of TNA. He's done. So now that just leaves MVP, the King of the Night, Kenny King, and the newest member of the BDC, Hernandez. How is it that you got a guy like Ethan Carter III to become TNA World Heavyweight Champion, who hasn't established anything, who hasn't done anything to impress me or the other fans, but you got MVP, possibly the top heel of this business, and why you don't put him in a world title match? Why don't you just face him for the world title? Why not give the belt to MVP? Why not? He would make a great champion. He would make a great heel. He would become something that anybody would want to see. Ethan Carter III, even as champion, he still hasn't earned anything. Nothing. Zero. But that's fine. If TNA is going to go ahead and drop the ball and give it over to Ethan Carter III, that's fine. Expect a couple of good matches. Expect Tyrus to come in and interfere to make sure the title is around his waist. And expect only one person to beat him. And who a lot of people would care, but I probably wouldn't, in my opinion. But here's the thing. TNA is already going down as it is. And the thing that really surprises me, and I'm going to get this last part in on this episode of the Main Event Talk before I go ahead and go. Everybody knows about the reappearance, the shocking appearance that took place last week on TNA Wrestling. And it was the return for the first time in, I'm going to say, over 4 years, the King of the Mountain himself, Jeff Jarrett. And I tell you, it was very, very surprising to me. Here I am at home, chilling out, watching WWE Impact, TNA Impact Wrestling. I was about to say WWE Impact Wrestling. But TNA Impact Wrestling, all of a sudden I see the Pope and I see Josh Matthews right there, and they got that shocked look in their face saying, what? And I wasn't sure who was coming. But I've been reading a lot of rumors about Jeff Jarrett showing up. And I wasn't sure if that was true or not. Then sure enough, here comes Jeff Jarrett. Here he comes with his wife Karen. And he was in the middle of the TNA ring for the first time in I don't know how many years. And, you know, it was really good to see Jeff Jarrett, because we all wanted to see Jeff Jarrett come back to TNA. And we all wanted him to pretty much fix the problems that have been going on in TNA wrestling for the past few years. And, you know, he gave out a story about him reappearing for King of the Mountain, reappearing at Slammiversary. And I've always felt that it would be cool to bring King of the Mountain back. But the question was, you know, would TNA allow the King of the Mountain match to happen without Jeff Jarrett's approval? Because it is his innovation, it was his idea, and he put it together several years ago. And then when Jeff Jarrett left, all of a sudden, you know, there hasn't been any kind of communication with Jeff Jarrett or TNA Wrestling. As you guys know, Jeff Jarrett is doing his whole thing with Global Force Wrestling. I've been keeping a very close eye on it. As a matter of fact, Global Force Wrestling is actually following me on Instagram, so that's pretty cool. And I love keeping up with some of the things that are going on with the Global Force Wrestling, with the promotion and everything. Has some great talented superstars on there. But for Jeff Jarrett to show up over in TNA Wrestling, and for him to do one more King of the Mountain match, to me, it needed to happen. Personally, it needed to happen in any way possible, because the way Jeff Jarrett left TNA Wrestling wasn't exactly a good thing. Not a good thing at all. But for him to come back, it was cool. For him to go ahead and, you know, appear at the King of the Mountain match on Slammiversary. I didn't get a chance to see the pay-per-view, but I heard it was pretty good. It was tremendous. But there was one thing, however, that really kind of stuck out, and it's one of those things where you put this match together, right? Everything's all set, everything looks good, everything's right, but then something fucks up, like like what happens in TNA wrestling all the time. Something has got to fuck up in every way possible. Something did. So here's the King of the Mountain matchup. It's all being set. It's all ready to go. The way I remember the King of the Mountain matches back in the day was when the only way to win a match, I guess you have to like take a championship belt or take a something. You have to climb up the ladder and basically hook it right there, and then you win the matchup just like that. And I guess there are pinfalls and submissions in these type of matches, but if you get pinned or anything else like that, you're in the the little penalty box or something like that. You're there for like 2 minutes or 5 minutes or something like that. That's the way I remember the King of the Mountain match being. But now they've changed it. Well, they didn't change it a little bit, but what they did that was pretty much the same. And I don't know whose idea was it, but I've always wanted to see that belt come back. But they brought it back, but it wasn't what in other words, let me get this out. TNA decides to bring a King of the Mountain Championship belt. That's what they did. They brought a King of the Mountain Championship belt. And surprisingly, it looks a lot like the Legends Championship, or the Global Championship, or the what was it called? The television title. Okay, so how many different names are we going to have for that championship? Now it's called the King of the Mountain Championship match, and that was it. Everything was set perfectly up until the point when that belt came out. And it's just like, oh God, are you serious? Why'd you have to bring that belt back? Well, actually, you know what? I'm glad the belt came back. I wish it was entitled the Television Championship. And more importantly, I wish the championship was a little bit smaller. You know what I mean? that championship needs to be a little bit smaller. It looks too fucking big, to be, any kind of championship. But anyways, Jeff Jarrett wins. He wins the King of the Mountain. He takes the championship match. And there was a Part 1 interview that took place on Impact Wrestling this past Wednesday night. And the interview was very, very interesting. And something about some changes that are happening with Global Force Wrestling and with TNA Wrestling. And I have not seen all of the interview. They're probably going to show Part 2 next week. Can't wait to check it out. And also, what does this mean now for TNA Wrestling? And what does this also mean for Global Force Wrestling? Because as you guys know, TNA Wrestling eventually is going to get off of the air very, very soon, but we don't know where its future lies. Because to me personally, it's losing a lot of great talent. I mean, Low Ki, he's gone. He's out of the business for good. Of course, you know about Magnus. Magnus is still, he's still in TNA Wrestling, just because of the television tapes and everything else like that. But Magnus is now a part of Global Force Wrestling. So he shifted from being a part of Global Force, being part of TNA Wrestling, to being in Global Force Wrestling. You also heard about James Storm, and that's somebody I never thought would leave TNA, but he's about to do it. James Storm is going to leave TNA Wrestling, and I'm not sure if he's going to Global Force Wrestling. That could be a possibility, or who knows? We could see James Storm in NXT or in WWE. One of those things, There's a lot of great talented superstars in TNA Wrestling that are leaving the company, and some people don't blame them for leaving because of the direction of where the company is going and how far this company is going to go. Personally, I don't want Impact Wrestling to go. I mean, I would rather see this company grow and succeed and become something huge, but where do you start? Where do you begin? I mean, to me, it's gone down even further with Ethan Carter III becoming champion. So, where do we go from here with TNA Wrestling and with Global Force Wrestling? Well, not sure exactly. I know that Impact Wrestling is going to be finished off, I think, in October or something like that, after its deal with Destination America. But then after that, I don't know. I mean, I really hope TNA Wrestling does not go anywhere. I really hope not, because we've seen WCW go out of business. We've seen ECW go out of business. I really don't want to see another business go down the tubes. I'd rather see a lot more wrestling companies out there, and some I really don't want to see go out of business. I mean, you've got WWE will always be the hottest wrestling promotion going today, whether anybody likes it or not. WWE, NXT, all of that is the hottest thing going in wrestling. And then you've got other companies like Ring of Honor Wrestling. You got, well, of course, we got New Japan Pro Wrestling. Let's not forget them. Then, of course, you got Lucha Underground, another hot promotion that's happening with all this talent that's over there as well. Impact Wrestling, TNA, to me, is in their level. I mean, they're not the best company out there, but they're somewhere in that level. I like to see more wrestling companies. I like to see more great talent. I like to see more new superstars in these companies. And if they want to, I mean, this is pretty much the plateau for them to go to WWE. I mean, look at the stars that have been coming from those companies. CM Punk was in, he was in TNA. He was also in Ring of Honor. He goes to WWE. Same applies with Joe. Samoa Joe, who was in Ring of Honor, who was in TNA, now is in WWE. Kevin Owens. He was Kevin Steen in Ring of Honor. I don't think he was in TNA. I could be wrong. But he was in the Ring of Honor for a while, and then he went over to WWE NXT. He's in the main roster. There's all this bunch of talent that's there, and they're looking to reach to the top of the WWE. And that's what needs to happen. And also, I think this came out a while back, about the interest of getting AJ Styles from Ring of Honor and bring him over to WWE. And to me personally, it needs to happen. AJ Styles is also another superstar that I've been falling in love with for a long, long time, because he was the guy that pretty much made me a TNA wrestling fan. AJ Styles. When I first heard about the name, he was a tremendous talent in TNA wrestling. He was a tremendous talent in Ring of Honor. Multi-time world champion in TNA wrestling. And of course, he's the IWGP heavyweight champion in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Will we see AJ Styles go to NXT? I hope we do. I really hope we do, because it's talented guys like AJ Styles, like Christopher Daniels, I'm also going to say Frankie Kazarian, others like that, that deserve to be at the very top of this business. And the top is WWE. That's how it goes. So, I guess with all that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and put this away for right now. I know there's a lot more I want to talk about. I definitely want to talk about Ring of Honor's Best in the World pay-per-view that took place a couple of weeks ago. And also talk about, I don't know if this is going to happen or not. And I think it's going to happen. But I believe Lucha Underground is starting a pay-per-view. I could be wrong, but I haven't read into the details just yet. But I did remember something on, I was watching Lucha Underground this past week. Chavo Guerrero went one-on-one against the Lucha Underground champion, Prince Puma. And I believe, if I remember this correctly, I'm trying to, because Lucha Underground's supposedly having a big event. I don't know if it's a pay-per-view event or not. Nothing's been said. But I've been hearing some of the matches that are taking place. Puma defending the championship against I can't say it in Spanish correctly, but I think it's Mir Muertes or something like that. And then, of course, there's El Patron, Alberto Del Rio, if you will, going one-on-one against the man formerly known as Johnny Nitro, the man formerly known as John Morrison, now Johnny Mundo. These two have had a great feud for a while, and now they're taking it to the next level. I can't wait to see it. I'm not sure, like I said, if this event is a pay-per-view event or if it's going to take place on El Rey Network. If you guys have not seen Lucha Underground, you've got to see it. All of this great, talented Mexican wrestlers, you know, seeing everyone from Alberto Patron to Tejano, Vampiro, of course, one of the commentators. Matt Striker, one of the commentators as well. Also, Prince Puma being there. Believe it or not, Hernandez is still with Lucha Underground. And it's funny. Here I am watching Hernandez with TNA Wrestling joining the BDC, and then the other side I'm watching Lucha Underground, and there he is again facing off against, I think it's Drago. You know, Dragon, everything else like that. But if you guys have not seen Lucha Underground, see it every Wednesday on the El Rey Network. You'll be impressed. So, that's going to do it for me. My hour is almost up. I got to get everything set up. Don't forget to check out WWE's. I believe they're going to do the Beast in the East once again this week. If you guys have not had an opportunity to see the Beast in the East, you got to check it out. From Finn Balor becoming the new WWE NXT champion, defeating Kevin Owens from Brock Lesnar, putting the New Day to shame. And of course, there were a few other matches that took place over there, including John Cena and Dolph Ziggler going one-on-one in a tag team matchup against Kane, and I think it was King Barrett. Yeah, that's right. King Barrett and Kane taking on John Cena and Dolph Ziggler. And of course, remember, in 2 weeks' time at WWE Battleground, it'll be for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Seth Rollins to defend the championship against Brock Lesnar. That's going to take place. And also the third encounter, John Cena going one-on-one against now former NXT champion Kevin Owens, but this time it will be for the United States Championship, and that's a matchup I cannot wait for. I know you guys can't wait for that. It should be interesting. And also a few other things are going to take place over Battleground, including the WWE Tag Team Championship will be decided as the New Day tries to get their titles back against the Primetime Players. Millions of dollars, millions of dollars. That's how it goes. And few other more matches to come, I believe, and I can't wait to check it out. It's going to happen on July 19th, I believe. I could be wrong. July 19th. Also, as a matter of fact, something else is going to happen on that same week, okay? 7/14/15 for me will be the end of my probation. I'll be done with that shit. It'll be out the window, no problem. Then a couple of days later, on 17/16/15, well, it's my birthday. That's all you have to know. And then a few other days later, of course, will be WWE Battleground Live, maybe on pay-per-view, maybe, and on the WWE Network. So that's going to happen. So don't forget to check out Battleground. Don't forget to check out WWE Monday Night Raw coming on, and then of course WWE SmackDown coming on Thursday nights, back on Thursday nights like it always does. And then of course Wrestling Wednesday with Lucha Underground, with Ring of Honor, with Impact Wrestling, with WWE NXT. All that takes place over there as well. So be ready for that, guys. The main event says to all of you, happy 4th of July. Don't drink too much. Don't eat too much. Don't get too fucked up. Get fucked up to a point where you go ahead and you take that one shot. You know that shot. You know, you go over the bar, you get yourself a shot of a Jaeger bomb, or in my case, a Jaeger bomb, or a Fireball, whichever comes first, with a drink of a fucking Michelob Ultra. And then, after that, you go ahead, relax, you say hi to a bunch of girls, hey, what's going on there? And you make sure that every woman doesn't touch you at all. And the reason why you don't want to touch them at all is because you don't want greatness to be touched at by other women. Because while all those other women, all these other women out there are looking to, you know, look at whatever guy that they want to look at you and think you're the one. But you know what? I'm not the one. You know why? Because the guy in your arm, the guy that you're with, is the one for you. You are going to screw that guy over while you come over to my house and you wanted to go one-on-one with the main event. That's what you want to do, okay? You want to go ahead and get you some of this. You want to go after the main event. But guess what? I am the hottest thing going. I'm the hottest guy going in that bar. And you, honey, can do whatever you want with that guy. But you ain't going to do anything to me. Because while you want to fantasize about me, you can fuck that guy, okay? You can fuck that guy because I'm going to be fucking some other woman. I'm going to be fucking this hot, gorgeous, beautiful, bodacious woman with a booty the size of Beyonce, like that. You smack it all fucking night. And then I'll take her to my room. Oh yeah, I'll take her to my room and I'm going to show her why I am the main event. I got 10 inches of love to give to her. And then, by the end of the night, on the end of the 4th of July weekend, the fireworks are not going to be the only thing banging, if you know what I mean. So, oh, sorry guys, I kind of went on a different zone there, just to do what I can. So, once again, thank you for watching, and check out all of my videos as well on YouTube, all from this episode, all to the other episodes of the Main Event Talk. When you guys get a chance, check it all out. Once again, happy 4th of July, take it easy, and the main event is going to get his ass drunk tonight. Sort of. Unless I decide to go ahead and drink a little Pepsi. Why? Because I can, and I want to. Any questions? Enough said. Happy 4th of July, guys. Now it's time for a beer.